Welcome back to my channel. For those who don't know me, my name is Catherine, and in today's video, I'm going to be talking about my spring and summer bucket list. So here in New England, I kind of mashed together spring and summer just because during March and April, it tends to be still cold and also very rainy. At the time of filming this, it is April, and I'm looking right outside my window and it's raining and it's also cold outside. So I like to think that like our official spring, even though it really starts in March, in New England, it really starts in May because that's when the rain stops being unbearable and the weather starts to get springish in like the 50s and 60s. So I'm making this video now in April so that I can look forward to better days coming and the spring and summer weather coming up. Hopefully this list will give you some inspiration and ideas of what you can do during the spring and summer time. Because New England, I get a later spring, and also summer tends to feel very short because, as I mentioned, I live in New England, so the summer weather only really lasts until like the end of August. So I really only get like the spring and summer like nice weather from like May to August, and that's only a few short months out of the year. So let's just get into this list. I have over 50 items on this list, so let's just get into it. The first item I have on this list is to have a picnic. I also have go berry picking and go flower picking as well. There are a lot of like pick your own fruit and flower farms in my area, so I thought that would be a really fun idea to do. I also want to visit a farmer's market, and I also want to visit a flea market. Those are also very big things in my area. There's a lot of things like that going on, especially in the spring and summer as the weather is warming up. I also want to go on a hike, and along the same lines, I also want to go camping. I actually have my own glamping tent. That's right, you heard me, glamping. I'm not a big outdoorsy person, so I do have a glamping tent with a whole air mattress set up. I will insert a picture so you can see what it looks like. Everything is pink. Her name is Gypsy. Yes, I named my tent, but that's just who I am and what I like to do. I even name my cars. The car that I have now is called Lagatha, which is a character out of the Vikings TV show. But anyways, let's head on to the next item on this list. I also want to attend a concert. I feel like a concert is such a summer thing to do. Even spring too, like there's actually free concerts like in my area. We have these bandstands where a lot of bands, like either rock bands or even like actual like instruments like being played, like string band concerts, things like that, are constantly being played at these bandstands, and I really want to go to a concert. It doesn't necessarily have to be like this huge thing. It could just be a free concert. Just being outside and listening to music just definitely reminds me of the spring and summertime. I also want to watch the sunrise and also the sunset at the beach. I have one specific beach that I like to go to during the spring and summertime to watch the sunset specifically, but I want to also watch the sunrise as well and maybe try out some different spots to watch it as well. I also want to spring clean, like do a deep clean of my room, and along the same lines, I also want to organize my closet. I just want to go through and possibly donate some things, and then also bring all of the clothes down from my attic to go through all of my spring and summer clothes, and then put my fall and winter stuff up in the attic and just reorganize my closet, whether that be like bringing down my seasonal stuff and bringing up the other seasonal stuff that I'm not using, and or donating a lot of stuff. And I think with the spring cleaning, like the deep cleaning of my room and then organizing my closet, I think it will just make me feel more refreshed. And with spring, like I feel like it's like a new start, a new beginning. So being able to deep clean my room during a spring clean or reorganizing my closet will definitely make me feel refreshed. I also want to go to a drive-in movie theater. I know that there was this one specific drive-in movie theater near my house, like 30 minutes away, and when I say near, I mean like 30 minutes away, because where I live, like 30 minutes is a drive you have to take to do anything. My town is like pretty out of the way. But I heard that they weren't doing drive-in movies anymore, but maybe that was just last summer that they weren't doing movies. I don't know if they're picking it back up this year, but I just want to find some drive-in movie theater that I can go to, because I feel like that's such a summer thing to do. You can, open up, your trunk area in your car. Like I have like an SUV type car, and I can like put some blankets back there and like, pillows, and have some snacks and just watch the movie. I think that would be really fun. I also want to make a summer reading list. I don't know about you, but when I was in school, we would always have summer reading lists for the next following year. Like we would have to read like I think a book or two to prepare for the upcoming year that we were going into. I've been out of school, high school, for 10 plus years now. I'm almost 30. So I haven't had like a summer reading list in a very long time, but I think like having a specific list that I want to read, or a TBR or to be read list, would be really fun to have, like to write down an actual list of what I want to read during the summer. I think that would be really fun. I read everywhere in the summer, specifically outside. I read at the beach, I read on the boat, I read at the park, I read on my porch. It's just a fun summer activity for me to do. Along the same lines, I want to read outside. So whether that be at the beach, on my porch, etc., on the boat, or in the park, not on the park, in the park, like go to an actual park and read. I think that would be so fun to do. It's just a fun, free summer activity to do, especially if you want to save money. Along the same lines of like being outside, I want to have a boat day. My parents do have like a small like recreational type boat that we go out on a regular basis in the summer. Like every Sunday, it's a normal thing for us to do, is go out on the boat. I think that would be a fun thing to do a few times this summer, just to be outside and be with my family. Talking about boats, I also want to go kayaking. I don't own my own kayak. I've always wanted to, but I have a few friends that have kayaks, and there's also like a kayak rental place in my hometown. So worst comes to worst, and I can just rent a kayak. If I can't buy my own kayak or borrow one from a friend, I can always just rent a kayak. I think that would be a blast. And if I don't think that I can kayak, maybe I can go paddleboarding. Paddleboarding is also a huge thing in my area, and I think that would be really fun as well. And I'm from New England, so eating lobster or lobster rolls is a very popular thing to do, even eating fried clams. So I want to either eat a lobster roll, an actual lobster, or some clams, like fried clams, or all three. I want to, eat all of the summer, like New England things. Clam chowder is also a huge thing, so maybe adding clam chowder onto that list too. But I just want to eat all of the like classic New England foods. A huge thing in my hometown as well is like these little tiny ice cream shops. So I would love to go to like any one of those and get an ice cream. I love getting ice cream in the summer and just like sitting by the ocean and smelling the salt water and eating my ice cream. It's just such a nostalgic thing that I grew up doing and that I like continuing to do. Being from New England, I'm of course a huge New England sports fan. I don't keep up with it as much as I would like to, but I do want to go see a Red Sox game during the summer. I think that is such a New England, Boston thing to do in the summer, is to go to Fenway. Like even if you're not a big sports fan, like just being in the atmosphere of Fenway Park and watching the Red Sox play is such a quintessential New England Boston summer thing. And no matter where you live, New England or not, I think going on a bike ride is super fun to do in the summer. I have like a little beach cruiser that I like to use in the summer, so I'm definitely going to make use of that. I also recently invested in some roller skates, not roller blades, roller skates, and they're a white boot with like pink wheels, and I have not used them yet. I got them last summer but didn't use them, so I definitely want to make use of those as well. Another thing that I got last summer was a penny board, and it's similar to a skateboard but it's a little bit smaller, so I definitely want to learn how to do that and not fall on my face. I'm a very clumsy person, so I want to master that. And my birthday is actually in July. I am turning the big 29. It's my last year in my 20s. Next year I am turning 30 and I'm dreading it. Like, I feel so old, so I definitely want to plan some sort of like birthday celebration to celebrate my last year in my 20s. I am dreading turning 30 and I just don't want it to end my 20s, so I just like I'm gonna try to plan something for myself. I don't have like a bunch of friends. I really only hang out with my cat Lucy and my parents, so maybe I can do something with my parents, maybe something with my cat. I do have a cat backpack for her, or maybe just doing something by myself, maybe planning like a solo thing for myself just to have fun and like celebrate my birthday. Like, I don't want to do something huge, of course. Like, I'm not gonna spend like an exuberant amount of money on my birthday that some people I know do, but like I at least want to do something special for myself celebrating the last year in my 20s. Along the same lines that I just mentioned, like I just said that I have a cat backpack for my daughter Lucy. Yes, I call my cat my daughter, and she is everything to me. She's my best friend, she's my daughter, and I maybe want to do some adventures with her in her cat backpack. She is going to be 3 this year in October, and she is an indoor cat. I do not let her outside because I do live like in the woods area, and if I were to have her be an outdoor cat, she would not be alive today if I let her do that, let's just say that. So I do keep her an indoor cat, but I do have a leash and harness for her and also the cat backpack that I mentioned. So occasionally I will like take her outside on her leash and harness and also put her in the cat backpack, or like I have this little like traveler car carrier, I guess you would call it, where I can strap her in her harness, like in this little carrier, and she basically can like look around in my car and have some freedom while also being safe in case I got into an accident. She wouldn't die. But I want to go on at least one adventure with her during the spring and summer to just get her out of the house and get her acclimated with like not being so cooped up. I do want her to feel comfortable traveling and things like that, because just in case I want her to come on vacation with me one time. I know I'm one of those crazy cat ladies. Or what if I possibly move out of my parents' house? Like, I want her to feel comfortable being in a carrier or going out of the house. So that would be fun to do, at least one event with her outside of the house. I ideally would want to do multiple, but at least one. Along the same lines of getting out of the house, I want to go on a road trip. It doesn't have to be like a cross-country road trip, but like even if I did a mini road trip within the confines of New England, like I can drive an hour and be in Maine, or I can drive an hour like in the opposite direction and be in Rhode Island or Connecticut. So I feel like I'm in a good central location in Massachusetts where I could do like mini road trips in New England, so I definitely want to do that. I could possibly do this next thing while I'm glamping, but I do want to build a bonfire and make s'mores. I feel like that's such a summer thing to do. I just love the smell of fires and the taste of s'mores. It's just a quintessential summer thing. I also want to attend / host a barbecue. I don't know which one I want to do because as much as I would love to host a barbecue, like I mentioned before, I don't have like a bunch of friends. So I probably will end up just attending a barbecue if someone invites me to one. I also want to create a seasonal playlist. What I like to do is create like a general like summer and spring playlist together on YouTube Music. Hopefully I can make one soon and maybe make a video on it, giving you some ideas for some summer music. And I would tag, of course, my YouTube Music playlist down in that description of that video. But I haven't made one yet, but I want to. I also want to have separately like a beach day, a pool day, and like a lake day, because I have some great plans to be outdoors for a lot of the summer. Hopefully it's not rainy during the summer. There was one summer like a year or two ago where like it just rained like nonstop, so hopefully this summer isn't so rainy. I also, along the same lines, want to go to the quarry. So I have a few quarries in my area that are within walking distance, and essentially what those are, if you don't know, they're like basically these huge like watering holes, I guess you would call it. They, in my town, had a lot of granite. We still have a lot of granite. I live in a place called Rockport, Massachusetts, and as you can imagine, it's a port of rocks. We're very literal here. We are a town like on the water. We're a very small, quintessential New England coastal town, but we also have a lot of rocks, hence why it's called Rockport. And there's a lot of granite. So basically, like way back when, they would dig up a lot of the granite and like ship it off to different major cities, like before there were, you know, skyscrapers. And they would primarily use granite to build buildings, like in New York, Washington, D.C., Boston, and a lot of major cities in the US, or even in like London, Paris. They would ship this granite off to very major cities, and they would build buildings with the granite here in Rockport. And so essentially the granite quarrying has stopped, it has slowed down. So they have these huge quarries where it's like this huge dugout like pit of where they've dug up a lot of the granite, and it has since filled up with rainwater, and a lot of people go swimming there. And because it's rainwater, it literally feels so good when you're swimming in it, because there's a lot of like natural minerals in it, and you literally feel so much cleaner after going in the quarries. It almost feels better than taking a shower, to be honest. Like if I go to the beach and I feel too lazy to take a shower afterwards, I know this sounds gross, but I do this sometimes, okay? What I'll do is like after going to the beach and feeling all salty and sandy, I'll like literally jump in the quarry, because it cleans off all the sand and the salt water, and it almost feels better than taking a shower, to be honest. I also want to attend a 4th of July celebration. This could maybe be tied in with like going to a cookout, because I feel like a lot of people have cookouts during the 4th of July celebrations, and with 4th of July celebrations, there's usually fireworks or a parade. My town specifically does fireworks and a bonfire, and as well as a parade, so hopefully I can do a lot of 4th of July activities. And by the way, the 4th of July is my favorite holiday, if you wanted to know. That's just like a little fun fact about myself. I just love it. It's just total summer vibes, and summer is my favorite season. Spring is up there too, but summer is probably my favorite, and I feel like the 4th of July is just like the epitome of summer. I also want to go fishing. So like I mentioned before, I live in a very New England coastal quintessential town, and fishing is a huge thing here. So hopefully I can go fishing. There's a few places in my town that I can go do that. I also want to eat an acai bowl. I either want to make it myself or possibly get it from somewhere else, like I can actually buy one that they made for me. I personally have made acai before. What am I trying to say? I have personally made an acai bowl before for myself, and it's just not the same. Like I've bought like the acai packets like in the freezer section and tried to do it myself, but it's just not as good. Like I love when people make it for me. Like that's why I like going out to restaurants too, because like for some reason, even though I can make certain dishes or certain food items or for certain drinks by myself, like at home, for some reason, like going to a restaurant and like someone making it for you, somehow it's better tasting. I don't know if that makes sense, but maybe some of you understand that. I also want to go out for brunch or maybe even possibly make brunch myself. But like I mentioned before, like when I go out and actually do these things, for some reason the food always tastes better when someone else makes it. So I'm tending to lean towards like actually going out to brunch rather than making brunch myself. But nevertheless, I do want to eat brunch. I also want to go to high tea. There are some like tea houses in my area that I want to go to that have like cute outdoor areas. I feel like that's more of like a spring activity, but it could also be a summer activity as well. I also want to bake like a seasonal treat, whether that be like something to do with like fruit or ice cream or shaved ice, something like that where I can bake it or make it like a seasonal food item, either for the spring or summer, or both. Another thing that I grew up doing in the spring and summer is mini golfing and the batting cages. Usually a lot of mini golfing places here in New England also have batting cages and also a driving range, but I'm not a big fan of the driving range because I'm horrible at golf. I'm more of a mini golfer myself, okay? So usually I like to go mini golfing and the batting cages like within the same trip. So that's something I definitely want to try to do this summer or spring. I also want to try to explore new bookshops. As you can probably tell by my YouTube channel, I love reading and I want to visit possibly some new bookshops, bookstores in my area. There are so many new ones that I'm discovering online. Instagram is great for exploring things in my area. So I want to definitely check out a new bookstore in my area, hopefully, and buy some new books. Along the same lines, I also want to discover a new thrift store. For those who don't know, I used to be a thrift store manager, and some of you may assume that I would get sick of thrift shopping, but I have not. It actually made me appreciate thrift shopping even more. I definitely will not be thrift shopping at the store that I used to manage because I feel like that was work for me, but I will definitely want to discover a new thrift store because I've been to a lot of the same thrift stores, but I definitely want to discover a new one this spring or summer. I also, along the same lines, want to discover a new cafe or a coffee shop. I just love like these small local businesses for like any sort of like cafe or bakery items. So I definitely want to try to see if I can discover some place new in my area for that as well. And for some reason I have had the itch to get a new tattoo or new piercing. So hopefully I can do that this spring or summer. I feel like with spring and summer it's like new beginnings. So hopefully I can get a new piercing or tattoo in the spring or summer. I also want to get my nails done. For some reason, when I get my nails done, I feel like a whole new person. And I've been trying to save a lot of money because getting your nails done can get really expensive, but hopefully I can get my nails done at least once or twice this summer so that I can just feel like I'm put together. I feel like in the spring and summer, like I really want to look and feel my best. Like in the fall and winter time, I kind of get into this rut of seasonal depression where like I don't feel so good about myself. But in the spring and summer, like I come out of my shell with the better weather here in New England, and with getting my nails done, it will definitely make me feel better about myself. Along the same lines of like self-care, I definitely want to do like a self-care bath. I've seen those people buy those like little shelving units in the bath. I don't know if that's what that's called, but basically like you can prop your phone up in it, you can prop your Kindle or a book up in it, and even have like a wine glass holder in it. And I would love to just like get a bath bomb or bath salts and like do a self-care bath and just like read a book, drink some wine, have a bath bomb or bath salts in it, and just like relax for an hour in the bath. I think that would be such a great time to take care of myself and have a self-care bath. I used to take baths like all the time. I'm more of a shower person now, but I think it would be great to just like slow down and take a bath. I also took like a summer pottery class when I was like a kid, and I also used to go to these like pottery painting places. I don't know if that's what that's called, but like you would go there and like the pottery was already made up and you would just paint it, and then they would like put it in the kiln and finish it off for you. I don't know if that's what it's called, but like it was a painting pottery store place, whatever you call it. I hope you know what I'm trying to say here, but I would love to either like take an actual pottery class or like go to one of those like pottery painting places, and I think that would just like get my creative juices flowing and bring out some new hobbies that I could possibly get into. I think spring and summer is great to do that. Along the same lines of like starting a new hobby or things like that, I would love to learn a new language. I don't know what I would specifically want to do that. What am I trying to say? I don't know what specific language I would want to learn. I think Spanish would be super helpful, but for some reason, ever since I was a child, I've always been super fascinated with sign language. And I think that even though like Spanish might be more useful, I think for me and like what I've always been interested in, I would love to learn sign language. And I feel like a lot of people underestimate or underappreciate, I don't know if that's the correct terminology, but a lot of people don't understand like how much American Sign Language is needed, I think. I don't know if what that terminology is, like underappreciated. I don't know what the terminology is, but basically what I think is that more people should learn American Sign Language because I think it's more needed, and maybe that's what I'll do. Maybe I'll learn Spanish. I don't know. Maybe there's another language that I can learn. I don't know, but I definitely want to learn another language. Along the same lines of like having new hobbies, I would also like to learn to make bread, whether that be sourdough or other types of bread. I am the type of person where like I always want to have healthy foods in my diet if I can, and a lot of that means like making things from scratch, and that way you know that what's in your food. But I recently also lost like a significant amount of weight. I lost like 100 pounds. So I have been on this kick of like really paying attention to what I'm eating. So I would love to learn how to make bread specifically. Like, of course, I can learn how to make like my own pasta or, you know, other types of things. But like maybe just starting out with bread and see where it goes from there. I also want to take care of my garden. Although I still live at my parents' house, I do have like a miniature garden in the backyard for myself. Like my mom has a bigger garden, but I have a separate garden for myself that I would love just to like upkeep during the spring and summer and just make sure that all of my flowers are growing. I don't grow any like fruits or vegetables. It's more like a flower garden. So I would love to upkeep that and just make sure that it's taken care of. A big thing that I used to do as a kid is feed the ducks. There's like a pond area near my house that we would feed bread to them. I don't know if bread is necessarily like the healthiest thing to feed them, but I'll have to research that. But I would love to, you know, feed them. And also there's another like bird sanctuary in my area as well. So I know this is like the perfect time to go there, like in like March and April, because they just had, you know, winter time. They have been very low on food. So if you go and buy like bird seed and like hold out your hand at this bird sanctuary, it's like all of these trails that you can walk through. And if you hold out the bird seed, they will literally hold, like not hold, land on your hand and feed on the bird feed like in your hand, and you can see some like pretty cool birds there. So I would love to do that as well. Something that I haven't done since I was like a literal child is fly a kite. I would love to see if I still have some like old kites in my attic or in my parents' shed to see if we have any kites from when I was a kid. If not, I can go buy a kite. But I would love to like go on like the beach or like in a park and like fly a kite. I think that would be so much fun and make me feel like I'm a kid again. Another thing that local businesses do during the summer in my area is they have food trucks, and a lot of them are based on like actual restaurants in our area. Some of them aren't actual restaurants, they're just like lone food trucks. But I would love to go to like a food truck and get some food, because I feel like that is something that you can do like when it's nicer weather out. Like you go outside up to the food truck and then you would get your food and like sit at like a picnic table or something. I think that would be really fun to do. There's also a lot of like local like amusement and water parks in my area. Something that I also used to do as a kid, but I haven't been to recently. As you can probably tell by this video, like the theme of this bucket list is really like nostalgia and like things that I used to do as a kid, or even like just self-care and like goals as well. But like a lot of the things that I have on this list are for pure nostalgia. I also want to run a road race, whether that be a 5K or a 10K. I'm a huge runner. I love to run. It helps me think. So I want to sign up for a road race, whether it be a 5K or a 10K. There's a lot of those during the spring and summertime in my area. Another self-care thing that I want to do is buy myself flowers. I think fresh flowers in the spring and summer is such a quintessential thing to do in this seasonal time frame. So like I just think that buying flowers for myself would make my day. I also want to make myself a summer drink. It doesn't necessarily have to be alcoholic, but just like having some sort of summery drink, like either iced tea, lemonade, or possibly an alcoholic drink. You never know. I'm not like a huge drinker, but I will have one once in a while. I also want to have a phone-free day. That's very hard for me because I feel like in this day and age, like everyone has a phone addiction. But I want to like lock my phone up someplace and like let people know that I'm okay before I have this phone-free day, and just let them know that like I'm taking a phone-free day, and then have a phone-free day and just like not be on my phone and like pretend that it's still the 90s and just, you know, have a fun summer day without my phone. I also want to visit a outdoor like summer arcade. A lot of the time during the summer there's these like semi-outdoor arcades. They basically are indoor, but like they will have these like huge like almost like garage doors that open up to the outside, so it feels like you're like indoors and outdoors at the same time. And they're typically like on the beach or on the water, and I don't know if you are familiar with what I'm talking about, but it's almost like a boardwalk feel where there's like an arcade and like the water, and you just feel like it's a summer vacation. So I would love to go to one of those outdoor arcades here in New England. There's multiple of them that I can think of on the top of my head, so I would love to do that as well. I would also love to create a list of like seasonal TV shows and movies that I want to watch during the spring and summer. That way I can get all of the vibes and the feelings of being in the spring and summer season, because I'm a very visual person, so getting the aesthetics from like a TV show or a movie would really put me in the mood for the season that I'm in. And last but certainly not least, I would love to create like a 5-year plan of like where I see myself. Like I mentioned, I'm turning 29 this year, and next year I'm turning 30, so I would really love to like have a 5-year plan. One of those things would obviously be to like move out of my parents' house, but with these housing prices and apartment prices, it's a little tricky. It's very expensive, but I would love that for myself. That would be like one thing on my like 5-year plan. Maybe I'll make a video about like what I would like to do in 5 years, like make some very specific goals and attainable goals for myself for the next 5 years for me to do. So I would love to do that. Like with spring and summer, like I've mentioned multiple times throughout this video, it's like a new start with the warm weather coming about and like the different flowers and leaves and birds and different wildlife coming about in the spring and summer. I think it's like a fresh start. So like creating a like 5-year plan would be the perfect time to do this, like during the spring and summer. I know a lot of people make like plans during like the new year, and that's another great time of the year to make plans or goals for yourself, but I also think the spring and summer is a great time to do that as well, because like I mentioned, like when I think of spring and summer, I think of like new beginnings, a fresh start. So I think that making a 5-year plan for myself that's attainable and also very specific, I think that would help me reset and be able to very much visualize what I want to do in the next 5 years and see myself in the next 5 years. So that is my summer and spring bucket list. I hope you enjoyed watching this. I certainly enjoyed making it. Hopefully I can add more things to this list as I start checking off this list as I go. But that's what I have for right now. Hopefully this gave you some ideas of what you can do during the spring and summer, and hopefully we can share what we've been doing over the next seasons together. I will definitely be making some videos on the things that I have on this list, so definitely keep an eye out for those. But thank you so much for watching this video. Do all the YouTube things that you know how to do, like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!